Hi all, here we are in Dubai and we are going to explore this area using the World Imagery Wayback app. To find out what the app does, we can come here to the information about it and we'll find out that the Wayback is a digital archive providing users access to published versions of World Imagery that dates back to February of 2014. So this app then has data or imagery from 2014 to current day, and it gets added every time that there's a new published version of world imagery in the Esri ecosystem. The great thing about this is with having imagery over time, we can look at change over time and how places have changed as a result of many different forces upon that particular area. So what we're going to learn how to do with this app is we're going to learn how to create swipe maps. We're going to learn how to create animations, and you're going to learn how you can take the imagery from the way back and take it into ArcGIS Online and some other places. So I'm going to X out of this and we'll get started with the demo. So here we are in Dubai, and I always like to show these areas here because it shows a very distinct before and after. So over here is all the versions of the base map that apply to this particular area. And if you click on any version of it, it will change to that version. So if we come here to 2014 and take a look, you're going to see that those islands don't exist at this point. And you can even go up this to see when they do start popping up on the imagery. So this first one was in February of 2014, and it wasn't there. And in June of 2014, they were there. So you can kind of see the progression of the islands, and then you can also see the progression of building on the island. So like I'm just going to go to one up here so you can just see the change, and I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see that building that's happening on the islands. But if you zoom in even further, you can see just how dense the housing is on these areas. So let's now that we've looked at the area just a little bit, let's create a swipe map that shows the beginning date and the end date. So the way that we can do that is just by clicking on this, and on the left side then you pick which image you want, and I always do the before on this side, and then over here I do the after, so that you have something that looks like this. And then you can even pan around while you have that swipe on to look at other areas of the region. If you wanted to share this particular map with someone, all you have to do is come up here in the address bar and copy this URL, and then you can embed this in a website. You can just send it to somebody, what have you. And you can also get a link here. You can copy the link to the clipboard, which is probably a little easier to do. You can also go to the global extent of the whole planet so that you can see the whole planet. So you can really play around with these tools here. Now, once you are done with your swipe, you just come up here to the right-hand side and close that out, and your swipe goes away. Alternatively, you can just re-click the swipe button and it will go back, or maybe it won't go back. So just click the X in the corner then. To create an animation of a particular area, we can use this button, but let's actually go back to Dubai to do that. And you can see you have a search up here in the corner that you can search by an address, a location, what have you. So here I am in Dubai, and I'm not seeing them because there we go. And let's say, excuse me, now that we want to create an animation of this particular island here, we can go to our animation mode, and then you choose what versions you want to animate. And I'm going to keep all of them just because I think it's fun. And I'm going to hit start animation. and then it will begin loading the animation frames, and you'll see them over here. And then in a second, it's going to start playing, but you have the ability to um, change the speed of the animation so that it doesn't go too quickly, because with an animation you want to be able to see change over time, but you don't want it to go by too quickly. And this is taking more than a second. It's usually not this cranky. So here we go, and we can see the animation going. And like I said, if you want to slow it down, speed it up, you just come over here. And again, yeah, I tend to like it to go a little more on the slow side, because it doesn't give me as much of a headache as the quick one does. But then when you're done, and I'm going to pause this for a moment, you can do a couple of different things. You can copy the link for this, and again, this can be embedded into, as you'll find out later in this course, you can embed it in a story map, you can embed it in a website, you can put it in basically any Word document, anything like that you want. So you can grab the link here. You can download it as an MP4 by clicking this button here, and it will eventually download for you, so that you have it on your computer as the MP4. And again, that's really kind of nice if you want to insert it in a PowerPoint presentation, a story map, and other types of files. So it's really nice for presentation. So, and over here, like once you hit the download, you have to then come over here and select what size that you want over here. And so it will create the MP4 for us. And then, as I said, you can download that to your computer. And I'm just going to cancel that for the sake of the demonstration. I think you get what's happening there. The other place you can do the same thing, as you can over here. You notice when you're in animation mode, you get the link and the download over here as well. So you can do that to get the data that you need for your animation. So some neat little things that can be done there. Now, if we come down here, or actually, let me get off of that. There we go. If we now come over and click on any one of these, you see that each image has an eye for to learn more about that particular release. It has the export, so you can export this as a tile package, basically meaning that it's going to take the current map extent and extract it for you, and you can save that into your ArcGIS Online account, which we'll be getting to later in this course. So that's a nice little thing. And then here you can just add this directly to an ArcGIS Online web map, just by clicking on that, and it will allow you to then add it to a web map. So some nice little things over there. And notice when I clicked on that to add it to a web map, over here it's asking me to create a title, some keywords, and a description. So I'm just going to click create web map so you see what happens there. And now when I open that up, it's taking me into Map Viewer, which we'll talk about in week 2, where we can open that particular map extent in Map Viewer. And this will just take a moment. There we are. So you can see what it did. And if I zoom out, you can kind of see how that is on top of the rest of the map. So a great way of extracting imagery that you might want to use. And when this becomes useful is, again, like, not the map viewer has the most recent version of the imagery in there, but not all times you want that most recent image for what you're doing in your project. You might be looking at, a before and after for some type of project, and having that this historical imagery then becomes important, so you can kind of look at how something has changed over a time. So that's a little bit about the world imagery Wayback app. It's a lot of fun, and this is something that I use oftentimes to get students excited because it's a fun little app. They get to explore their neighborhood, and I often ask them to create an animation of their how their neighborhood has changed over time, or someplace significant to them has changed over time. So it really gets students excited when they can kind of see where they live and how that place looked throughout.